On May 1, 2015, a Mexican military helicopter flew into the state of Jalisco on a mission to capture a cartel leader. Instead of fleeing, the gunman on the ground aimed an RPG-27 rocket launcher at the sky and blew the aircraft apart. The group responsible, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or CJNG, is led by Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, a man known to the world only as El Mencho. CJNG maintains control through tactical intimidation. When pressured by the government, they deploy synchronized strikes across dozens of cities, burning passenger buses, blockading major highways, and placing bounties on national soldiers. El Mencho built this organization using insider knowledge from his time as a police officer. He understood which officials could be bought, the exact price of their loyalty, and where the institutional blind spots were located. Historically, Mexican cartels were limited by the land. They managed mountainside marijuana fields and navigated the long, exposed smuggling routes required to move Colombian cocaine, processes that were slow, seasonal, and vulnerable to interference. This raises a question: how did a group of rural agricultural smugglers generate the capital to build a modern private army? The cartels solved the limitations of farming by moving into the laboratory. They pivoted their entire business model away from agriculture to manufacture synthetic drugs, specifically methamphetamine and fentanyl. To secure their raw materials, they seized control of the port of Manzanillo. This gave them a single access point to import the massive quantities of precursor chemicals arriving directly from China. This shift moved production indoors. CJNG now operates hundreds of hidden chemical laboratories, removing their dependency on weather, crop cycles, or external suppliers. By controlling every step from chemical import to final product, the cartel transformed from a group of middlemen into an independent international pharmaceutical manufacturer. Fentanyl became their most lucrative product. It is an incredibly potent synthetic opioid, where a dose of just 2 milligrams, roughly the size of a few grains of sand, is lethal to a human being. This chart compares a fentanyl pill's manufacturing cost against its street value. The cartel spends roughly 10 cents to make one pill, which sells for $30. Scaling to industrial levels, a $500 investment in chemical precursors yields $20 million in pure profit. These extreme margins allowed them to scale their ranks overnight. They exploited a massive pool of cheap labor. The 2 million Mexican farmers left unemployed when the corn market collapsed in the 1990s and 2000s. Moving the product is a matter of volume. With over 12,000 freight trucks crossing the U.S.-Mexico border every day, the cartel can easily hide drugs in the massive flow of legitimate trade. They used this wealth to exploit American gun markets, smuggling hundreds of thousands of weapons south. They purchased sniper rifles, heavy machine guns, and tactical equipment that outgunned local police. The transition to a paramilitary force was a direct result of the specific, extreme profit margins generated by synthetic drugs. In February 2026, the manhunt for El Mencho reached its climax. The Mexican military cornered him in a rural cabin complex where he died from injuries sustained during the capture. However, the cartel did not collapse. Instead of surrendering, the remaining commanders launched a coordinated nationwide war against the government. Cartel gunmen engaged the Mexican National Guard and Army in open combat, blockading cities and demonstrating their ability to fight the state directly. This is the Hydra effect. Killing the head of the organization only fractures the leadership into smaller, more violent factions that continue to compete for control of the trade. The violence is sustained by factors outside of Mexico's control: the high drug demand in America, the flow of chemicals from China, and constant smuggling of American weapons. The result is a self-sustaining global supply chain. It functions completely independently of whoever happens to be in charge of the cartel. As long as the synthetic economic engine is allowed to run, these cartels will remain a fully funded military force stationed right on America's doorstep.